son. Here's one, here's one. Oh no, oh, that's a big ass one. Free spool, free spool. Take it easy. Shh, quiet, quiet, quiet. Easy. Free spool, free spool. Free spool, free spool. Oh my God.
Well, Musky show's coming up in a couple days at the new venue in Hoffman Estates, and we're trying to put together a last-minute video for a very close friend. At least I like to call him a very close friend, Chris Mahan, and just to get a little insight on the addiction or the obsession or the love of musky fishing, depending on what side of the fence you're coming from. Musky fishermen tend to collect a few baits, and you can see there's top water, some Weagles, old Weagles, more top water, and there's like a turmoil here, and some more flashaboos, and so on and so forth. Kind of a poor man's tackle boxes, and this bait in particular, talk about that a little later. And that's filled, I won't bore you, this is filled with musky baits, musky tools, some cutters. You don't injure the fish. Two musky fishermen, release them all. Period. End of discussion. Musky nets, and more musky tackle. Let's see, here's one here that got a musky on. And it's about that on the equipment, and it's literally thousands of dollars, perhaps tens of thousands of dollars in just the equipment. Here, as you can see, every musky guy's got his musky t-shirt or shirts. You got to have those specific to musky fishing, preferably. Hi there, my name is Rick, and putting this little video together for my friend Chris. Chris, are you around here anywhere? Where'd Chris go? Oh, there he is. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my history in musky fishing, and I started when I was probably 18 years old, seriously into musky. Ran into a good buddy of mine, Doug. And we used to go up to a place in northern Wisconsin, I won't name the names, but northern Wisconsin, and fish pretty much every weekend, and was turned on to musky around age 18. And at that time I thought, well, okay, it's going to take me a few years to break the 40-inch mark. Back then, the now 50 was 40. Things seem to be moving in reverse. Now it's the 50 is the new 40. However, little did I know what I was in for. It took me 3 and a half, 4, sadly, decades to break 40 inches. Now that's not to say that I didn't catch any musky. I caught lots in the 35 to 39.99 inch range. But when it came to that elusive 40-inch mark, I had some very bad luck. I have strong issues with people who go out the very first time and catch a 50-incher or higher. I think they're kind of spoiled for life, and personally, I just don't like them. So, yeah, it took a long time to get my first one over 40, and I remember that I actually had one in the boat, and I know it was over 40. My cousin was there, and we put it on a bump board and went to get a camera, and of course it flopped off the bump board into water. We could have netted it, but I had such respect for the will of that fish that I didn't want to stress her out any more than what we already had. So, and there were other 40s that I had, but no picture, no fish is my philosophy. I won't get into that now. Hopefully I'll be able to talk with you at the show. Then I met a guy who turned me on to a guy, who turned me on to a guy, and I hired guides. I've been through a lot of guides. Probably most of them were here at the show, with the exception of one. But this guy Chris, he seemed to me to be the guy who was, coming up the ranks, the guy who was still hungry, the guy who hadn't established his reputation yet, who was trying just a little harder, the proverbial, when you're second, you try harder. But I just felt good about the guy, and I liked his rig. It was salty. It wasn't real pretty. And we went out, and I had the biggest fish on in my life. And it was huge. And I think it was the video you just saw. And I don't know what I did wrong. If I did anything wrong, that's musky fishing. And I've come to accept the fact that, in order to get a few, you got to leave a few. And I remember when my obsession was to get a 10-pound bass, a bass over 10 pounds. I went to Texas. I went to Georgia, Alabama, and then once down in Florida, yep, it happened. And a half hour after I got a 10.5, I got a 9.5. And now I catch bass because there's no sweat. There's no extra stress put on it. So I think musky fishing in some respects is like that. I know that I'm spoilt now. I really don't want little fish, although they do break up the monotony. And each fish has a personality of its own. So, that 40-inch was elusive, and then once that was gotten, and that was I will tell you where that was at. That was in Lake Vermilion, and it was on a bulldog. I won't tell you anything more than that. Talked with me at the show. So, I was with my good friend Doug when that happened, and he netted it. And I was very, very happy with that fish. One thing about musky fishing, though, it's not terminal. Like, you don't break that 40-inch mark or the 45-inch mark or even the 50-inch mark. Sure, they sell, T-shirts, the 50-inch crew. Wouldn't be surprised if a 60-inch crew didn't come out. You always want bigger. You always want more. You're always maybe challenging yourself to do better. I do remember, however, there being a punchline of a joke with that 40-inch mark for all those years, catching seriously, hundreds of 30s, but at 40, I don't know. The one fellow I knew, Eli Slinger, he actually wrote here it is, chapter in this book on me. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's a book about Here, Musky, Bite Me. And he wrote a series of these Musky Chronicle books. He's unfortunately passed away a few years ago, and he was a dear friend. The name of the paragraph was, "The guy who fished the most hours and never got a 40." So I had that distinction, and that was, at that time, my claim to fame. Not one that I really ascribed to, but certainly lived up to. So, fast forward numbers of years, and I'm with Chris in his boat, with my good friend, and here she comes, and I see her, and went into my figure 8 mode, And this fish came after hours of seeing nothing. And we're on St. Clair, and went into my figure eight mode, and she was hungry. I knew she was going to hit. And she hit, and I hit. I mean, I gave it what I had. I had on a big old, big nasty, 100-pound Test Samurai, 130-pound Stealth Leader, and a pounder. Won't tell you what color, but I had a pounder on. And I had it on a big nasty pole. This sucker right here. So I had plenty of artillery to fight the fish. And I don't know, it got off. And for a whole year, I just, every night before going to sleep, it seemed like I was thinking about what could I have done different. Give me another chance. And I know how these other chances work because I've had big fish on over in my life and lost them. And those chances don't come very often. So equipment, you got to get everything working in your favor. I mean, I even go through my eyes on my poles with a Q-tip and see if there's any cotton left behind, so there's no nicks in the guides that could possibly wear down on line. Stealth leaders only. Quality equipment, because I don't want that to be the weakest link in the chain. So again, here I am on Lake St. Clair, fast forward another year with Chris. And we actually, my friend called up Chris and said that we had to cancel for one day, a Monday. We had previously booked Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Highly recommend, if you can. I know things are tight and money is scarce, but 4 days, that's 4, is your optimal. In a perfect world, if you can do 4, book your guide for 4 days. One of them you may get blown off on. One of them you may just not feel up to par on, get sick, who knows. But 4 days is optimal. You spent all this time in preparation. You got off of work. You fought with your wife or girlfriend or whatever to get to fishing. You drove all that way. You booked your hotel. You're paying for food. And then you want your vacation to last. I mean, where else do you go on vacation? You usually typically spend 4 days or more, I hope. Anyway, I digress. 4 days. So we had to cancel the Monday. However, Chris, being the good guy that he is, said that he would, give us that day free. Now, when a free trip guiding, especially with Chris Mahan, is offered to you, you're a fool if you don't take it, and you don't deserve to get your big one. So, yes, we did take him up on his offer, and ironically enough, or coincidentally, or whatever the correct word would be, that was the day that she hit, and it was a 50-incher. It was on a spanky bait. In fact, I got that bait right here somewhere. Here. Right here. Spanky. And it looks like it's 9 blades. And there's some flashaboo missing. That's from a toothy critter that took care of that. Did a little bit of flossing. And so this lure is retired. I don't throw this lure. This lure, you got to figure, I started musky fishing 1970. It's 2014, a year ago, when I caught that fish. So you do the math. That's a lot of years. Why, I kind of treasure this lure. Now, did this lure catch it? No, the Perseverance caught it. The times of going hours and hours without a bite, without seeing a fish, days without seeing a fish, cold weather. And by cold, I mean like single digits, snowing, can't find your poles in the boat because of the snow. Rain, where you can't see your partner anymore because of the deluge. Being careful of lightning. We lost a dear friend who was hit by lightning a few years back, musky fishing. Died doing what he loved. God bless him. Just the hours of travel, all to get that fish. And so when that moment came, that's why I really treasure this bait. treasure a lot. And that was, again, stealth tackle, leaving nothing up to the weakest link, because the weakest link will bite you. It will hurt you. It will break your heart, and you will replay it every night before you go to sleep. Gee, if I only would have spent a little bit of extra. Gee, if I only would have known about stealth leaders. And they clearly are the leader. There is no other leader than that. No, the funny thing about this fish, though, I didn't use my rig. I used Chris's, because Chris supplies the rigs. You can bring yours along, but you get that look from him and if you can read him, it's the look that you ought to probably use this instead of that. And so I used an assault stick, and I loved KS tackle. I loved the thing. It fought that fish perfectly. I mean, I could go toe-to-toe, mano-a-mano with that fish, and this time the fish didn't win. So the tools did the job. Bad luck, I've had it. Now good luck. I don't know if that was luck so much as perseverance. And the luck part was, running into a guy like Chris Mahan. And I really, really appreciate it. And if you get a chance, take a few minutes and just talk to the guy. He ain't a big talker, but he does carry a big stick. And a lot of times it's even bigger than an assault stick. So good luck, good fishing, stay safe out there. Have a wonderful 2015. Enjoy the show. And, talk with people and learn. And most of all, hang in there. Perseverance will prevail.
Free spoon, Rick. Rick, don't pull the hooks out of his mouth. Free spoon. Back on the drag, back on the drag. You got it? Free spoon. Free spawn, free spawn. Oh shit, big ass one. Oh no! Yes! Yeah! Yeah! Yes! Look out! Yeah! Oh, come here! Get your ass out of here! Holy fuck! Oh man! Thank you! Thank you! Wow, you don't know what that fucking means! Holy shit! Fucking shaking.